We are going to be talking about dictionary methods in Python. So I'm sure you've noticed that by now, every single data type or data structure seems to have a kind of some kind of inbuilt functions for them. For example, lists and tuples and strings, that we spoke about, they all have inbuilt methods that we can use to manipulate them or grab data from them. Now, what we are going to talk about, we're going to talk about dictionary methods. So I want you to create a new file and call it dictionary underscore methods dot py. Now, once you do that, I want you to just open the file. So I will copy the dictionary that we had created from the last tutorial or video, and I'll paste it here. So we are going to be making use of these dictionary methods in order to, manipulate the data. Now, if I head to W3 Schools, again, I will leave this link in the description of the subtopic so that you can, visit these websites, or you can always get the link from this video and just type it in. So these are a bunch of big dictionary methods that we can use to manipulate data or grab data from a dictionary. So the first one that we are going to talk about is we're going to talk about the, let's just say, keys. Now, what the dot keys does is that it returns a list containing the dictionary's key. Now, remember that the dictionary is broken out into key value pairs. So what keys does is that it basically returns to us a list of all the keys. So we should only see name, age, first name, and grade being returned back to us. And it is just dot keys that we're going to use. So what I will do is I will come down and I am going to print students dot, sorry, I'm going to print students dot keys. Now, once I save that and run it, let's just see what we have. So you can see that it gives us dict keys. It gives us a list of name, age, first name, and grade. So that's returned back to us a list of all the keys which are present in this dictionary. And we also have a different one called dot values, and this returns to us all the values that are stored in a dictionary. So instead of printing out all the names, imagine you wanted to get all of the values. Instead of saying dot keys, you could just say dot values. And once I clear my screen and run that, you'll see that we only get the values, which are John Doe 20 algebra and 70.89. So those are, like the first two that we are going to talk about. Another one that we're going to talk about is dot get. And this returns the value of a specified key. Now remember that in the last uh, section, I told you that in order to get an item from a dictionary, or in order to get a value from a dictionary, you need to make use of the key itself. So I said, if you wanted to get like the name, if you wanted to print the name, for example, you can say students of name, and then this is perfectly fine. You could just run this, and it would still give you the name, which is John Doe. But we have an inbuilt method to actually also perform this operation. So instead of saying student of square brackets name, we can say student.get. And in here, inside it does get, we just simply pass in the key of the value that we're trying to get. So if we're trying to get name, I'm just going to say student.get name. And then once I run this program, you notice that we still have John Doe printed out in the terminal. So in order to get values from a dictionary, you could either use this way or you could use the other way, which is just this. Now, it is important to note that using this method is usually better for when you are not sure if a value is inside the dictionary. For example, if I were to go back and remove name from this dictionary entirely, once I run this program, you'll notice that it is going to crash and we have an error. It says key error name. And what that means is that there is no key in this dictionary that has a name of name. Now, I want you to notice what happens when I now use dot get. I want you to see the difference. I'm just going to save that and I will run the program. So once I run this program, I want you to notice what happens. You see that we don't get an error. It's just print out none. So if you are sure that a value is inside a dictionary, you could use that first method of using the square brackets. But if you aren't specifically sure if that value is present, you can just use the dot get. And if that key, I mean, if that key is not present in the dictionary, it's just going to return none. So it's usually better to use student. It's better to use dot get. It either returns none or it returns the value of the key. So the next method that we are going to just look at right now, let's just scroll through. We can look at the items. Now, items returns a list containing a tuple for each key value pair. Now, we're going to see exactly what that does. Now, what items does is that it returns the key and the value itself. So we're going to need two variables in order to get all the items. So what we can just do for a start is that we can just print students.items, right? Now, once I do that and save it, I will just print this and let's see what it gives us. You can see it gives us a tuple, a list of tuples actually, and each tuple contains the key itself and then the value. So the key itself and then the value. Here we have grade, the value. Here we have course name and then the value, which is algebra. Now, what that tells us is that we can actually loop through a dictionary because it is also an iterable sequence, just like a string or a list or even a tuple. So what that means is that since dot items gives us a list containing age and containing the key and the value itself as an element. That is, if you look at this list, let me just copy the list so we can visualize this better. If I copy that list and paste it inside my program, my code editor right now, we can see that we have a list and each item is a tuple, right? So this is one item, this is another item, and then this is another item. It means that we can definitely look through this um, because it is indeed a list which gets returned back to us. So what we are going to do is we're just going to write a simple for loop that is going to help us loop through these items. So I will just remove this student.print of items and I'll close that. I'm going to write a for loop and I'll say for item, comma, right? Not even item. I'm going to say for key, comma, value in students.items. Now let's look at the structure of this for loop. We're saying for key, comma, value. Now we're saying for key, comma, value because each item in this list is a tuple that has two values stored in it. Now, there is something that is called deconstructing a tuple in Python. Now, what that helps us to do is we can separate out the values of a tuple by assigning them to specific variables. By saying for key, comma, value, we are saying that for every item in this element, in this list, since all the items in this list are tuples, and then we know that we can deconstruct a tuple by assigning each value in that tuple to a specific variable. That is exactly what we are doing. So we're saying for key, comma, value in students.items. So student.items is going to return this list back to us. Fine. Then we're saying for key, comma, value because we're going to get the key and then the value inside a tuple. So in order to deconstruct this tuple, we need to grab the key itself, which is age, and then we need to grab the value, which is 20. So we're going to do that same operation for every single item in this list. So we're going to say for key, comma, value in student.items, we can just print out something here. We can just print out using the f string. So in order to format this properly, we're just going to print the key, right? And then we'll put a colon here, and then we're going to print the value. So you are going to see how this looks. Let me just clear my screen and run this program. So you see that it gives us age colon 20, course name colon algebra, and grade colon 70.89. So this basically just helps us grab each key value pair individually from the dictionary. That is what the dot items does. It returns to us a list. Now that list contains different elements. Each element is a tuple, and each tuple contains the key and the value. And we can deconstruct a tuple by assigning every single value inside the tuple to a specific variable. So in order to make it more understandable, let me just head back to, I believe it's chapter 6, and we're going to go back to tuples. I should have actually talked about this in tuples. So I will create a new, let me just comment this. So I will create a new tuple and I'll call it student, and I will equate this to, let's just say Solomon, and then I will put Solomon and let's just pass in the age of like 70. Now, what we can do is we can deconstruct this tuple by saying, instead of saying student is just equal to this, we can say student name, comma, age is equals to Solomon, comma, 70. Now, what I can then do is I can come down to print, sorry, I can print student name, and I can also come down and I can print age. So look what happens when I run this program. Sorry, TLS. So once I run this program, I want you to notice what happens. You see, we get Solomon printed out first, and we get 70 printed out first. Now let's look at what happened. We know we are storing two values in this tuple called Solomon and 70. Solomon, comma, 70. Now what we can do is, instead of just assigning one variable of student equals to this, we can deconstruct the tuple and separate it into its individual parts. So when we say student name, comma, age is equals to a tuple of Solomon, comma, 70, what we're essentially saying is that let Solomon be equal to student name, and let age be equals to, and let 70 be equals to age. So this is exactly what deconstructing a tuple means. It just means separating the tuple out into, it just means breaking the tuple down and assigning them to their own individual variables. So that is exactly what we did here. We did for key, comma, value in students.items, and then we printed the key and value. So if you have any question, please feel free to ask and I'll definitely reply you. So that is all we're going to talk about for now in this video, and I will definitely encourage you to practice um, some of these methods, as I can't teach you everything. You need to practice on your own, that this concept gets solidified.